Okay, guys, we're officially starting our group chat. And Michelle just asked a question about Galaxy S7. Is that what you bought, Michelle?
S7 active. Yeah.
Okay, Galaxy S7 active, and it has like a pink spot on the screen sometimes or something.
Yes.
So, guys, whenever there's a issue with the display on a phone, no matter what, it's always going to be bad or cracked LCD. Even if it's a tiny little dot, even like a little small black dot, a dead pixel, it's going to be the same exact price if it's totally smashed and not working. Okay, it doesn't make a difference. So don't appraise any more because with this the problem's not as bad. The problem, same thing. If there's a tiny little hairline crack, it's going to be the same price as one that's got this huge spiderweb crack all the time. Doesn't make a difference. Okay, that's how the market works. So just be careful with that. So what were you going to ask me, Michelle, on that? Was that it? Just kind of like
I was just curious, I guess, if it would sell for more, or just put bad LCD, no cracks, no damage, occasional pink LCD.
Yeah, I mean, I still list it as a bad LCD. You could try explaining it in the description, but I found it really doesn't do anything. No matter what, you're still going to end up paying the same price as cracked LCD. It's just how people perceive your item. That's the problem.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Let's see. Yuki had a question here. Let's do an appraisal drill to start off because Yuki was asking. Is Yuki still here? Let me just make sure. Maybe not.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you are here. Oh, how you doing, Yuki? I didn't see you in the thing. Okay, so you have a Galaxy S7 32 gig for T-Mobile with a cracked back. Is that right?
Right.
Okay, guys, let's all do this appraisal together. Can everybody tell me, for a Galaxy S7 32 gig for T-Mobile, if it has a cracked back, how much would it sell on eBay for, and what would you pay for it? Okay, what's it going to sell on eBay for, and how much would you pay for it? Everybody give me their answer while I'm looking this up, and then we'll go over the answers, okay? Type it in the chat. You guys got 1 minute to do that. All right, I already got my answer. Who's going to give me theirs? I already did it. You should be able to appraise a phone, guys, in less than 30 seconds. Steven says, buy for 90, sell for 180. Steven's the first one. He got it in about 45 seconds. Let's see who else gets it. Michelle says 115 and 50. Guys, the people that make the most money in this group are the ones that always answer the questions first, all the time, hands down. So if you're one of the people that always sits in the side lanes and never answers any questions, I'm going to guess you're not going to be in the top percentage for income in this group. Not putting anybody down. I'm just saying, guys, the more you participate and you learn, I mean, knowledge is power. So the more knowledge you have and the better you practice, the more money you're going to make. Now, you can see the answers on the bottom are definitely not as good as the answers at the top. So let's break it down. What this and look, if you're wrong, you're wrong. It's okay. Don't feel bad, guys. It's better to be wrong and at least you tried than to fail. And because here on this group chat, guys, you don't lose any money when you're wrong. Okay, you only lose money when you're wrong with a customer. So this is the time to be wrong. This is the time to practice. Okay, because if you look stupid, it's okay. Looking stupid doesn't cost you money. Making mistakes when you're with the customer costs you a lot of money. So don't worry about making a mistake. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I'm going to show you my screen. Okay, and here's how I typed it in. Now I'm going to bet some of you didn't put bad ESM when you're searching. Okay, right here. So I typed a Galaxy S7 32 gig T-Mobile cracked back bad ESM. Now if everybody type in what they searched for when they looked, and be honest with me. Type in what you really searched for. I want you to copy and paste that. Type in the chat because I want to see what mistakes you guys made so I can help you. Because sometimes that's where people go wrong. Is not doing appraisal, but not typing in the item properly. So Steven did it well. Let's see, Eric. Eric pretty much did mine. Is exactly as mine. Chris, now with yours, see yours you put silver. get rid of that silver because the color doesn't really matter, and that's going to limit your options, especially on something like this. And see, you didn't put cracked back, you just put bad ESN cracked. So the cracked back on these is going to be a little bit higher than just cracked. Okay, so be careful with that. Okay, see.
Oh, cracked back. Oh.
Yep. So Rich, you did the same thing, but you put cracked, but you didn't put back, and you also put bad ESN as one word together. It's bad space ESN because that'll throw you off if you make a mistake with that. So be careful with that. Let's see. Diana, you forgot to put cracked back, so be careful with that. Let's see. David says Galaxy S7 cracked back, but very importantly, make sure you have T-Mobile bad ESN. Because if not, then you're going to get a whole bunch of other carriers or Sprint and can pull your appraisal all off. Okay? Let's see. Ryan has Galaxy S7 T-Mobile cracked back. So Ryan got it down. Steve got it down, except he forgot the bad ESN part at the end. So remember that, okay? There we go. All right. So I would offer, so obviously it's going to sell for about 200. See, 198, 212, guys. Okay, this is a super easy appraisal if you did it right. So it's going to sell for about 200, and I would offer between 100 to 110 on a $200 item. Especially if it's damaged, I'm probably going to offer them $100. Okay. Who found that helpful? Say yes, guys, if you found this helpful. Yeah. Okay. So, guys, I sent out a survey yesterday. I get some valuable feedback. I appreciate whoever took the time to fill out that survey. Thank you, because I realized some things that that people had issues with that I didn't know were a big problem. So I'm trying to do a little bit better to make this course as good as possible for you guys. There's a lot of noise. I know I've left people open so that they could talk, but I guess I'll mute everybody because it's kind of annoying. Let me just mute everybody really quick, and then if you want to talk, you just unmute yourself. There we go. Irene says, should we offer lower since outdated? Well, it's not. I mean, yeah, it's April 28th, but it's not that big of a difference because Galaxy S7 has been out for a while, so it's not like it's going to drop. It's going to plummet. I mean, maybe $10, like Steven said. Maybe, you know, appraise it 180, 190. So that could be true. Yeah, and then maybe offer $90. But that's why I offer 100 because it kind of makes up for that. Even if I offer 100, it sells for 180. I'm still making a good profit, you know. So should be okay. All right. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna pick some topics, and I want to see what you guys want. One topic I noticed when I did this survey, a lot of people were saying they're confused on what to do when they meet up with someone. How many people here would like me to go over? You can pick two things: either what to do when you're with someone, the process when you meet up with someone, or we can do we can do more role playing and negotiating. Some people were saying that they want to see more live calls, but the problem with doing live calls is I don't have customers here selling us stuff, so it's very difficult to do live calls without real customers. You know, so I have to practice with you guys. I can't force someone to call me out of thin air. So what do you guys want to go over? Let's see. Lillian says the process. Christy says process. Michelle says negotiating. Steven says the process is always good. All right. Let me know your biggest sticking points when you meet up with people. What is the part when you meet up that you guys are confused on, or that's like your pain point? Where is it? Where's the confusing part or the scary part in the meetup? Is it getting him to sign the bill of sale? Is it going over the phone? What are the things that confuse you? Alex says checking the phone to make sure it's as described. Steve says checking the phone out. Someone says bill of sale. Give me your input, guys. Let me know so that way the more input I get, the more I can help everybody here. Eric says, do you go through the phone and check all parts? Lillian says going over the phone and checking as if it's as described. Okay. All right. So here's what we do. Whenever, and if you guys want to see this in person, you really should come to the boot camp that I'm having July 31st, by the way. I'm having a boot camp. You can actually, you want to see me live, come watch me in my store, and you get to watch me work with customers live and take calls. Like if you want to see me all day long taking calls and working with customers, it'll blow your mind. I mean, it's just stuff I can't put in the course, unfortunately. There's no way to do it. right? So Alan says the boot camp is amazing. I highly recommend. I'm having a boot camp July 31st. I would definitely come to that if you want to see like live interaction with customers, so you can see it and believe it happening and watch me close 100% of people there. Everybody who's been to the boot camp has raved about it. But anyways, let's go over the process, okay? Here's what I do when a customer walks in. Well, let's say I meet up with them, when I would meet up with people. So first thing, when I'm over the phone, I'm going to say to them, okay, we're going to meet up at, let's say, I would say the Warwick Mall, because that's where I used to meet people. It's the Warwick Mall in Rhode Island. That's the city I live in. So I'd say, okay, you want to meet at the Warwick Mall? Look, I'm driving, at the time I was driving a silver Saturn station wagon. So I'd say, I'm driving a silver Saturn station wagon. What are you going to be driving? All right, you're going to be driving a red Hyundai. Okay, great. So I'll look for you there. Is this your cell phone number so I can call you in case I can't find you? Yes? Okay, fantastic. So I always ask that way there's no confusion, right? And then when I get there, meet up, I get out of the car, I say, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I'm Dave. Oh, you're Bob? Fantastic. Let me take a look at the phone, see what you got. All right. Now first thing I do is look at the phone, okay? I'm going to shake their hand. I'm going to smile, be nice to them. First thing I do is get the phone and I look at it. Now, what I'm looking for, what's the first thing you guys think I'm looking for when I pick up a phone? Let's see. Let's type it in the chat if you can tell me the first thing. Steven says cracks. Michelle says damage. Valenti says cracks. Good. You're right. Cracks, okay? I'm looking this over very carefully to see if I see any cracks anywhere. Because sometimes, and I always take the case off. See the case? It came off. This is my personal phone. Because people will leave the case on the phone to cover up cracks. Has anybody ever had that happen? You bought a phone, you took the case off, and you're like, oh, shit, they screwed me, right? People will try to pull that on you. So make sure you take the case off and you look. Inspect the back, and look at the corners. The corners, even if there's a tiny little crack, you're going to eat it on that phone. So, because it's going to be the same price as crack. So look in the corners, look in the back. Chris says 2 times that happened to him. Wow, yeah. All right. Now, a lot of you guys say check the camera. Honestly, I almost never have problems with cameras. So for me, I don't bother checking the camera. I mean, if you want to, it doesn't hurt. But you know what's more important is the charge port. And I'll tell you why. Because what happens is a lot of people will get a phone with a bad charge port, and they'll put a battery in there that's charged up, and they'll give you the phone. Looks perfect, right? Like, this phone's great. Oh, it works. Fantastic. You give them the cash. Next thing you know, you're taking pictures. You list it on eBay because it's still going to charge, right? And then you send it to that buyer, and they send you a return, and they say, hey, man, what the hell? The phone died, and it won't come back on. And you're like, oh, I know that phone was working when I sent it out. It wasn't. It really wasn't. There was a bad charge port, and you didn't know that because you didn't inspect the charge port. So instead, you're now blaming your eBay customer, and you got to deal with the return on top of it. So always plug the phone into a charger before you buy it. Vic says, great tip there. Yep. So, I mean, all my employees are required to go through this intake process whenever they buy a phone. They have to charge it. So what I used to do, I had a custom thing installed in my car, but you don't have to have this. You can just carry 2 different chargers, right? Carry 1 iPhone charger, 1 Android charger. Maybe 1 Lightning charger for iPhones and maybe 1 fat charger for iPhones, the bigger one, okay? But always check the charge port on any phones. That's going to save you guys a whole bunch of hassle. Just the cracks in the charge port, if you just check that, you'll avoid 99% of the problems. Most other problems, you can't really check for. Like if the phone has some weird issue where it reboots after a half hour, I mean, there's no way in hell you're going to be able to find that out. Like that's why you have to have so much profit per phone in case something does come up like that. Most of the time it doesn't. Also, a lot of the times you'll have problems if you're not getting IDs from people. If they're like, oh, I don't have my ID, but I got my registration, write that down. Prepare to be screwed. I promise. Has anybody ever done that dumb mistake? Like, who here has ever let it go with the ID and just wrote down their registration? Say yes. It's okay. I've done it plenty of times. I did the same thing. Stan says yes, capital S. Eric says yes. Okay. Michelle says I took a passport. I mean, a passport's still a government ID, so it's okay. But the registration is you can't go by the registration. It's bullshit. And if the police come, it's not sufficient proof, and you can still get in trouble. It needs to be a government issued ID. That's the only way you're going to avoid people screwing you. Okay, guys. So that's very important right there. All right. So Check the charge port. Make sure to check for cracks. One last thing is the buttons. Has anybody ever not checked the button and then went home and was like, oh, damn it, the power button doesn't work? Anybody ever been through that one? I know I have, okay? So always check the buttons, volume button, power button, home button, charge port, and look for cracks, okay? You do those things, you're going to be good. Those are the most important things. And take the case off. I've had phones where I took the case off and the back is completely gone. I'm like, what the hell? There's not even a back on this phone. They were trying to cover it up with the case. And they're like, oh, it's in mint condition. Here you go. You know, they give me the phone with the case and then I take the back off. I'm like, hey, man, come on. What is this? You know, people are going to try to get one over on you. Let me tell you something. You do this business for a couple of years, you really lose how to lose faith in people. You realize people aren't as honest as you think they are. So take the case off, look for cracks, charge port, buttons, okay? Next. The next thing I'm going to do is say, hey, do you mind if I erase this phone? And they say, okay. I should probably just shoot a video on this. I'm going to have to maybe edit this group chat and go over it. But anyways, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask, hey, can I restore this phone? Yes? Okay. I always ask permission because you never know. Sometimes the deal goes bad and then you restore the phone, they get pissed off. You don't want to have that happen, right? So I always say, do you mind if I restore the phone? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to restore that phone right there in front of them. And I'm not giving them any money until that phone is restored, okay? They get nothing. I'm not giving them any cash until that phone is 100% restored. And then even once it's restored, I'm going to go through the activation process, okay? The activation process is like when you restore the phone, it'll say like United States, all the different countries, or it'll have the setup screen, okay? So that's called the activation sequence. You need to go through that and get to this screen on a phone. You need to get to the home screen of a phone after restoring it. Only then is it safe to give them the money. Once you've inspected it, you've restored it, and you've gone through the activation process, then it's okay to give them the money. Until then, no, they do not get the cash. I keep the cash in my pocket. When I would go meet some people, especially if I thought they were shady too, I actually used to stick the cash in my shoe, not even in my pockets. That way, in case they rob me, they wouldn't even know where the cash is. I'd stick the cash in my shoe, and then I'd pull it out. If they thought they were really shady, if they're just like a normal person, I keep the cash in my pocket. But do not even pull the cash out. Do not even pull the cash out until you've done this process. Okay, guys? Anybody learn anything from this so far? Who found that helpful? Okay, great. Okay, excellent. Good. So that is going to be, Ibrahim said, did anybody ever try to rob you? No, fortunately, I've never been robbed. Thank God. Never had that happen in 5 years. Jess says the streets will teach you that. Yeah, I mean, you just got to have a little common sense. I only met people in a public place. You know, that was it. Only a public place. Like the mall, McDonald's, a gas station, somewhere there was a lot of people. I was never stupid and just went to like a place where there's nobody around. I did do some stupid things. I did go to the projects a couple times to buy phones, and that was a little scary. There were a couple times I was a little intimidated, but I'm a pretty good sized guy. I know how to handle myself well, so I took some risks that I probably shouldn't have, but I don't know if I recommend going to like the projects and meeting up with people if, you know. Anyways. Let's see. Joel says how to do a video on reset a phone. Look, I can't do a video on how to reset a phone. I'll tell you why. Because there's so many different models that it's different with every model. So all you guys got to do, if you want to learn how to reset a phone, just go on YouTube and type restore iPhone, or YouTube restore Galaxy S8. YouTube restore LG G3. Every phone has a different restore process. All you do is go to YouTube and search how to restore it, and bam, there you go. Okay. Like some people want this course to have like every single little thing about every model phone and every detail or something like that. I mean, that's just not how it works, guys. Like you gotta use a little bit of common sense with some of this business. Okay. For example, like I said about doing the restore, same thing. Hard restores on phones. If there's like a password and you want to bypass, just type in hard restore Galaxy S7 and type it in YouTube, and there'll be a video on that, how to do it. You just follow the video, okay? The reason why you bought the course is so I give you the stuff on how to make money and the mindset. Those things right there, I mean, that's just like, you know, instruction manual stuff that you can find anywhere on the internet. Just look it up. Use Google. Okay, there's a bunch of comments. Let me read. Let's see. Dave, how do you handle Facebook messages? People don't call me and message me. I mean, I don't handle Facebook messages. I have not answered a Facebook message ever. If they can't follow directions in an ad to call me, I just ignore them. I don't waste my time with them. Because they're mostly time wasters, those people. What I do is I spend my time writing better ads. If people don't call my ad, it's because my ad sucks. So instead of wasting my time responding to people sending me bullshit messages that aren't going to turn into deals, I spend my time working on the ads instead. So that way I get the calls. Because a good ad, people are going to call. But if the ad is not good or it's stale, people aren't going to pick up the phone. So you're going to write a good ad so that more people call you. Not do Facebook messages. Someone says money management tips. Is it good to? Wally says, David, any recommendation according to the post I made yesterday about the MacBook? I don't know, Wally, what you were looking to accomplish with that post. I'm still kind of confused what you want out of that. You got to be more specific. Josh says, Alan, told you voice messages or get them on the phone. If that fails, if you want, you got to improve your texting emoji skills. Now, Josh does a lot of texting with the emojis, which does work. You could do that, but it's a lot of work to do texting. So if you can't do anything else, you guys can do texting, but it is much better to call if you can. Steven says, I do too. Majority of my business is all texting. So, Wally, you want to know why your MacBook isn't selling? Can you post the link to that in the chat, Wally, please? Post the link to your eBay item, Wally, and I'll help you out. We'll look at it, okay? Okay. By the way, guys, look, I just want to teach you on how to ask questions appropriately, because I feel sometimes people ask questions, and sometimes I don't respond to questions in the group, and I don't mean to, but it's like sometimes people ask questions that require way too much work to answer, right? For example, Dave, my Craigslist ads are getting flagged. How do I stop that? Like, I mean, I have 5 videos in the course on how to not get your Craigslist ads flagged, but you're expecting me to answer this in a comment, like, if you guys are going to ask questions, you got to ask specific questions that are going to lead to an answer that I can give you quickly, or you have to come to a group chat and like we can go over strategy and stuff together, right? Or same thing, hey, I'm going to buy this phone. What should I pay? It's not fair to ask that in the Facebook group, guys, because you haven't done any work yourself. You need to do the work yourself and say, hey, this is what I'm going to offer. And this is what it's selling for. Is there anything I did wrong there? And be a little bit more specific so it doesn't take up everybody's time to ask that question. Does that make sense, guys? Can everybody agree to do that? Because it's just a little bit more fair to the other group members and to me, okay? Just because you bought this course doesn't mean I'm obligated to spend all my time answering a question that's been answered 1,000 times in the group already, okay? That isn't fair to me. As much as I want to help you guys, there's only so much time I have. All right, so let's take a look at Wally's thing here. So Wally, in the future, you need to be a little more specific. For this, you should have put, hey, why is my item not selling? Now, first of all, I'm going to test you, Wally. Wally, why do you think this isn't selling? Let's see if you know why first. Can you unmute yourself? Wally? You still there? Okay, can you unmute yourself, Wally? Wally? Okay, I'm just going to unmute you. Can you talk now? Well, you got to help me out here if you want me to help you. Wally, you there? If not, I got to move on. Can you talk? Or if you can't, at least type in the chat, but please communicate or I'm going to have to move on. I'm giving it, okay. Can move. Well, just type in the chat at least if you can talk. Just type in the chat. Okay. So, Wally, what do you think is the problem? What do you think is the issue with this thing, with this listing? price, okay? So did you look and research the price that these other ones were selling for before asking in the group? Let's take a look at the price on this listing. See what's going on with this. All right. So that's it. There's only one that's there. Now, let's look at this. I don't see a model number here at all. Well, how come you didn't put the model number in? You've put all this other junk that doesn't really matter, that's not important. So here, guys, here's a tip. When you're doing your eBay listings, right? Let's look at the keywords here. One of the most important things is to put the model number, and there's no model number here. Nobody cares about this 13.3 megahertz thing. Get rid of that. Nobody cares about this DDR3 384 megabytes thing. Just all that's garbage. Nobody is searching for a computer with that on there, okay? So, guys, you gotta put the most important stuff in your titles. So MacBook Air, that's important. A Core i5, that is important because it tells the processor. A 13-inch screen is important, and so is the memory, 4 gigs. After that, all this stuff is shit, except for the 2011. None of this stuff is any good. But what would be good if you could put the model number that's on the bottom of the computer. Can you tell me that model number now, Wally? And that's one of the reasons is nobody's even finding this, because people will actually search for certain model numbers. And also, you can't really do an appraisal without the model number. So, Wally, can you give me the model number of that computer? You can either do you want to find the one in the settings that's like MC something something LLA. Well, it should be in the about of the computer, or at least on the bottom. Underneath, there should be a general model number. It's like an A1238 or something like that on the bottom of the MacBook. But the only thing is that's not as exact as the model number on the inside of the computer, the one that has the LLA at the end of it. So look, give me the number though on the bottom at least for now, and I'll show you what to do with that. Just give me the number on the bottom. Oh, you don't have the MacBook? Okay. So I'm gonna guess. Let's just do this. Watch. Let me open up a new eBay page, and let's type in MacBook Air 2011 4 gigabyte and see what we can find. Because we'll probably be able to find it there. MacBook Air 2011 4 gigabyte. And let's take a look at that. All right. Boom. Here we go. There it is right there. It's probably one of these models right here. It's probably, let me see if I can find the one with the A. An A1369 is probably what it is. Now, I want to know if you guys saw what I just did there. See, I put the important keywords. I took MacBook Air 2011 4 gigabytes. Those are the important keywords here in this. See, this one's got a Core i5. So this is about the same. 389, 399. What's Wally got it so for? 378. 340. 355. I think it's just overpriced by like 20 bucks, and I don't think you have good keywords. That's why. Let's take a look at the description. And you also put mint conditions, which doesn't sound right. Makes it seem very unprofessional. Get rid of the S there. That seems weird. Also, your feedback is pretty rough. 95.7% is really bad feedback. So, I mean, that could be, but MacBook is like new and it works excellent. Be really careful with overselling. You're overselling that too much. Just put it in good condition. Because if not, you're giving someone a reason to return the item over just a little stupid scratch or something. So don't oversell, guys. Always undersell a little bit. It is not tied to any Apple ID. Does not come with the original charger, and it comes with the. Why do you have this big green thing? Why is this all green here? This listing looks really sloppy, Wally. It does not look professional at all. So try to tighten that up. Make all these fix the grammar. Make sure it's all black here instead of different colors. It's just confusing and hard to read. So basically, people are going to think you're just kind of like some amateur seller. So that's why they're not buying it. They're kind of nervous. Plus, your low feedback, plus the price is high. All those combinations is why this is probably not selling. Okay? So you got to fix all that stuff. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Did anybody else learn anything from going over this? Good. All right. Let's take a look at some more questions here. No problem, Wally. Thanks for doing that. Let's see. What's another question you guys have? Steve says be specific in comparison. Yes, very important for when you're doing the laptops. Vic says a bunch of small errors and ads can add up. Absolutely, definitely, I agree. So guys, what's another thing that you guys would like to work on today? What's a major like sticking point? I think that I covered all the stuff in the survey that I thought people would want to hear about, but I'm just curious. Did anybody check out the fact I put in the post, the frequently asked questions thing? I put a pinned post in the group now with the fact. So any questions that people have, you can go check it out right there in the fact, okay? And it's a pinned post, so you have to go by that every time. So there's no excuse for saying, oh, I didn't see the fact, because it's right there. You can't see any other post without going by that. Andrew says the fact is very good. Yeah, I mean, I covered like every single question there is. And I put in the description that people need to make sure that if they're going to ask an appraisal question, they need to put how much it's going to sell for and what we're going to offer. Some people still didn't follow that, unfortunately, but I'm doing my best here to make sure. Michelle says too many of the same questions over and over. I agree. That's why I did that fact. I think some people just do this course and they don't want to. I don't know what it is, but why they don't put the effort to actually look through everything and read the videos and stuff. Maybe they're missing it, but guys, it's important to devour all the information with this and look it over, so that way, you know, it helps. And do it multiple times. Like one time watching the videos might not be enough. You might have to watch them a few times. I'm actually redoing the whole course right now. That's why I'm doing surveys and stuff. So the more feedback you guys give me, the better this new course will be, and you will all get it, okay? But I'm redoing the course completely, so that way I can really tailor it to make it to all the most important points that you guys have. David says, the problem I've had is lack of funds. I sold my first phone for $440 and it was refunded. Been broken, haven't been buying phones since then. We'll have some money again on Friday. So for anybody that's a little bit of cash strapped, right? What you want to do, because you're kind of an investor, right? An investor needs capital to make money because you're buying phones and then you're flipping them. So when you need money, let's say you're buying phones and you only have $400 and you're gone. You want to find a relative, a friend, someone that has some money, that has trust in you. Show them that you know your stuff. Like, you know how to find a phone that's profitable and you know how to sell it on eBay and make money off of it. That way they feel confident in your abilities. Then offer to pay them a little percentage of the profit so they get a return. Like, I'd happily give someone $100 if next week they're like, look, give me $100, man, I'll give you $110 next week. And I knew 100% they were solid and they were going to fall through. It's an easy $10 for me, right? So, you know, maybe your mom, a friend, someone that trusts you really good with your money, go ahead and do that, and then you can make you can use that money to make money quicker. Because if they can let you borrow $500, you could probably flip 5 or 6 phones that you would not have been able to if you don't have the money. Give them 10% of that, and now have a nice big cash pool. Does that make sense? Michelle says, PayPal offers a working capital loan. Yeah, the problem is most people aren't going to qualify that, so it's no good. So that doesn't help as much, unfortunately, that PayPal thing, because you have to be experienced. So a lot of new people won't have that. Sam says a question about the return the other day. Sure, go ahead, Sam. What's your question on that? Josh says, I did that yesterday, borrowed and paying some interest. Bam. Josh is always taking every bit of advice, and that's why I hit 10,000. I mean, some of you guys just show me your screenshots, which are awesome, that, you know, you're doing this stuff.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so this happened about, I think this was on Thursday. No, this was Monday. And I sent a phone out. The guy had kind of asked me some unreasonable things for me to do after I sold the phone. So he purchased the phone, and then he asked me to call T-Mobile and have it unlocked. And I should have just ended it right there. Yeah, I should have ended it right there, but I didn't, because it was like a $300 sale, and I'm like, okay, I want this money. I happen to know the buyer pretty well, or I didn't know him well, but he kind of owed me a favor. And so I called him just out of a courtesy. He said he called and unlocked it. I mail the phone out. He receives it. He messages me, blowing up my message, saying that the phone was blacklisted. I'm a liar, and blah, 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 blah. So I said, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Go ahead and process the return. I was afraid of a negative feedback, and I shouldn't have done this as well, but as a courtesy, I refunded the money right away. He sends me
Before he sent the phone back?
Yeah.
Tim, why did you post that in the group? Did you post that question in the group?
No, I did not.
you're in a group that cost $1,000 to help you sell on eBay, but you didn't post a question for a $400 phone if you should refund his money or not yet?
Yeah. Well,
Okay. I'm
well,
sure you learned your lesson for that, I hope, right?
Oh, yeah. And so
Okay.
he sent me a message back basically saying, eBay says I don't have to send you the phone back. I'm not sending it back.
Okay. So, guys, yeah. If you ever run into a situation like this, is the questions you should be asking in the group. Like, these are the ones that you need to ask. That's not like an appraisal question or something that's like, you know, something I cover in the group. Like, something like comes up like that. That's why you're in this mastermind group. And you know, like, we have this Facebook for important things like that. So, Sam, I'm sorry that happens. That sucks. But make sure, guys, that you don't ever make the same mistake that Sam is. Please learn from this. And if you ever have a tight situation, please ask me first. I will. Someone's going to respond to that and be like, "Whoa, don't refund the money. Make sure he sends the phone back," because even eBay will side with you on that. Okay, eBay would have sided with you even if the guy wanted to return the phone, saying it like he couldn't unlock it. So a couple things. If you ever get people that buy a phone and they're like, "Hey, I tried to unlock it. Now I can't." Well, the thing is, I didn't sell it as unlocked. So, you know, the phone was sold as AT&T. It wasn't sold as AT&T to be unlocked. So if you want to return it, that's fine, but I can't do anything about it. eBay will always side with you on that problem, okay? Don't ever, guys, refund a buyer first before. I don't care if they scream, they say they're going to sue you, they say you're terrible. I don't care what happens. Do not ever give them the money first. eBay will 100% side with you all the time on that. They will make the person send the phone back before they make you refund them, okay? Did you have any other questions on that, Sam?
No. I had another guy. So that guy, interestingly enough, even though he was really nasty, the feedback was still positive. But another guy, I clearly stated in the description that the phone had a cracked camera lens, and you know, I posted pictures of all the scratches and stuff like that. He bought the phone, and then he receives it, and he sends me a nasty message saying, you know, I'm pissed off now. My money's going to be, you know, tied up and all this stuff. And then he asked me to go outside of the shipping label that I provided him. I said, I'm sorry, I could, you know, we can only stick with USPS, which is what I provided you. And then so he leaves me negative feedback, basically because I didn't want to do things the way that he did. So is it wise to report that buyer and say that he asked me to do something I couldn't, and that's why he's upset? So that way
what was I was a little confused on what he asked you to do. Can you just try to clarify it in a more simple way?
So, I missed a key point, was that he said that he could not read the description that I had posted from his laptop, but he could read it from his phone.
But what was the problem? It was kind of confusing.
So then, you know, whatever, he's upset. So what?
But just get to kind of the point of the problem. Just what was the problem? The problem with the phone that he was saying.
The problem with the phone was that he didn't read that the lens was cracked on the camera.
Okay, so and what was the phone that you sold? Was it cracked or no?
Yes, it was, and I posted that clearly.
All right, so you had a phone you sold with a cracked camera, and he didn't read it, and then he wanted to take it back?
Yes.
So just take it back.
No, so I did. I accepted the return, no problem.
Okay.
And then he says, I want to overnight this so that way it gets to you immediately and I get my money back. And I had already provided him a shipping label through USPS. He wanted to go through FedEx, and
that's not your responsibility. You can actually call eBay, have them remove that negative feedback.
Okay.
You shouldn't have listened to that buyer. In that situation, you'd be like, I already sent you a shipping label. As soon as it comes in, we'll take care of that for you. If the buyer complained and left you a negative feedback, eBay would have backed you up and removed that because it's not because it's their fault. It's their mistake.
Right.
So very important, guys. You all should memorize eBay's terms of service. I can't make a video on the course about eBay's terms of service. It would just be too long. You need to go there and study all the rules of feedback and like go to eBay help and contact right here. Let me share my screen really quick. All right. You got to go to eBay help and contact and just type in feedback removal. Okay. And know what, oops. Here we go. Changing or removing feedback. Like you got to read these articles, guys. You need to spend a few hours knowing your business. I mean, I'm not going to make a video on the course on this because it's right here. It's all the information is right here for you. So know this stuff, know the terms of service, and it'll show you why they'll leave the feedback, why they'll remove it or why they won't. Let's see. Let me see if people are commenting in the chat. Let's see. Chris says, I just call them and ask. Yeah, absolutely. If you call them too, they'll tell you. If you ever have a situation you're not sure of, you should always be calling eBay. Don't ever be afraid to call eBay, guys. I mean, when I was doing this, I still call eBay all the time now. See right there, contact us. Just contact them and ask. Be like, look, I've got this situation with the buyer. What do you recommend I do? And if he does this, can the feedback be removed if he leaves me negative feedback? And they'll tell you, and they'll let you make the decision. If they say no, then you'll be like, okay, well, I guess I'm screwed on this one. I got to take it back. But if eBay says, yes, we'll put a note on your account. If they leave you negative feedback over this, we will remove it. Then bam, then you're covered 100%. You don't have to worry. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, no problem. Yep, guys, always call eBay. Okay, so what I want to do next, guys, I want to do a few interviews with some people here that are doing over $5,000 a month part-time in the course. And I'm going to cut the group chat a little bit short tonight because I want to spend some time with these people for the next maybe half hour, just doing some interviews so I can put these videos into the course and show you guys like what some of these other guys that are doing that are maybe getting deals through text that we can't normally get for the, the people that don't have a job. But for the people that do have a job, what are they doing other than taking calls to get some deals while they're working full time? Okay. How many people want me to do these interviews? Say yes if you think that will be valuable for the people that are doing over $5,000 a month part-time while working a full-time job. Would anybody like me to do that and put that in the course? Okay, looks like that was pretty important because we had about 10 people and immediately say yes. Wow. Okay. All right. So, so for those people who said they would, I think it was Stephen, Christy, can you guys privately message me now? And do you mind just hopping on a quick call with me? I got to do a separate Zoom link so I can record that. And I'm going to put this in the course if that's cool. And I'll hook you guys up with something in the future. If maybe by doing this interview with me, maybe I'll do a free coaching call with you, or I'll do something to help you out since you're helping me out, okay? Not only that, you'll be famous because you'll be officially in the phone flipping course with hundreds of people, and you'll be nationally recognized. So, all right. So Stephen says you're happy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Christy, Chris, you're also doing over 5,000. That would be excellent. I appreciate it. Okay. So for those guys who just said yes, please message me right now on Facebook. I'm going to end this in a minute, and then I'm going to send you a message and follow up with you guys one by one. I got to do a separate Zoom link for each person and do a separate recording. Okay. Please message me right now. I'll remember it was Chris, Christy, and Steven. Before I go, I just want to talk to you about, oh, no, you're not doing that. You're not doing full time. Oh, you meant, yes, you want to hear the interviews, Chris. Oh, okay, sorry. Oops, sorry. Okay, so Steven and Christy at least, and then I'm going to see if I can get a hold of Randy. He disappeared. I'm not sure if he's on this chat right now, but I'll see if I get in touch with him. All right. Christy says, sorry, I haven't made 5,000. Not 5,000 a month profit, 5,000 a month sales. Because even if you're doing 2,000 or 3,000 a month profit, that's pretty good, guys, for working part-time a couple hours. Many people will be very happy with that. So if you're doing at least 5,000 a month sales, then let me know. All right. I saw the post in the chat, so I'll just reach out to the people who did the post. Vic says tips from big earners if they started out with little funds to see what they did. That's another good one too. Anybody do well that started out here with only like 100, 200, 300 bucks? Okay. Anyways, while I'm waiting for this, last thing I just want to wrap it up. I'm doing a boot camp where you get to train with me live in person, July 31st at the end of the month. Now, look, guys, if you want to increase your income, you should be doing iPhone repairs and flipping phones. If you're not doing iPhone repairs, you're missing out on a potential easily $1,000 to $3,000 a month profit part-time working a few hours a week if you're not doing iPhone repairs, okay? This is not a sales pitch. It's true because why do you think I do iPhone repairs and buy phones at all my stores, buy, sell, fix? Because that's how powerful the iPhone repairs are. If you come to the boot camp, I'm going to train you in person live how to do the iPhone repairs right there. Okay. Not only that, you're going to get to watch me negotiate with people live, real customers, not role playing, real people overcoming objections and buy stuff dirt cheap. So you get to see that right there. Not only for 7 hours you get to be with me, we're going to go out to dinner and hang out all night at Dave & Buster's. We get to have dinner there, and it's all included with the price. The price of the boot camp's only $497. You get everything all included. You get the 7 hours with me. You get dinner at Dave & Buster's, and you get to pick my brain for the whole day. Okay. Ask anybody who's been to the boot camp. I haven't had one person complain yet about the boot camp, and all I've heard is raving stuff about how much it changed people's income. For $497, I'm pretty sure you're going to get that return back, and not within a long time, but in a very short amount of time. Alan says it's pretty awesome. He loved the boot camp. I know Michael loved the boot camp. You don't have to ask me. You can ask anybody who went to the boot camp. I know Michelle hit $13,000 last month on eBay. She came to the boot camp. Lillian came to the boot camp. Barry says I'm there. If you want to come to the boot camp, guys, you need to message me because I only have so many slots. Now, I also invited Michelle because she's one of my top students right now, got invited to the boot camp. And she has already been to one of my boot camps, so I invited her as a special guest. If you guys want to meet Michelle, I think she's going to come to it. I'm not 100% sure. But August 31st, it's a Monday. It'll be from 11:30 to 6:30 p.m. Message me right now on Facebook if you want to go to that before the slots fill up. And I'll book you in for the boot camp, okay? Again, it's only $497. It's July 31st. It's a Monday, July 31st. The hotels here are very inexpensive to stay at in Warwick. It's not that much money. We're talking about maybe $70 a night. I could find, if you can't afford that, I mean, that's for a good 3-star hotel. If you can't afford that, I can find you one for like $40, $50 a night in the area. That's only 5 minutes away. The store is only 5 minutes from the airport from TF Green, so it's pretty easy to get to. Travel costs shouldn't be that much money. Okay, and Chris says, hey, Dave, a more situation problem in my business. Can I bring this up next week? Sure, of course, absolutely. Eric says you can Airbnb. I know Yuki did an Airbnb, and he got it for dirt cheap prices. I think like $30 a night or something like that. So the travel cost shouldn't be that much. Guys, if you really want to take your business to the next level, the boot camp is definitely the place to do it, because whatever issues you're having, you're going to see me overcome them live in person. And if you have like texts, you have Facebook messages, I'll take your phone and I'll close deals for you right there at the boot camp. I've done it. Ask anybody who's been at the boot camp. I've called people right there that they were trying to negotiate with and close deals that they couldn't close the deal with. So you'll probably make some of your money back just from coming, because I'll help you close a deal. I'm not guaranteeing any of this stuff. I can't promise any of this because I don't know, what deals you're going to have come up to you. But I promise I'll do my damnedest during the boot camp to help you. And you'll see me do it for other people at least. Steve says, message you on the Facebook group. Yeah, message me in the Facebook group or just private message me. Just private message me under David Kosciuszko and I'll see it and I'll take a look for you. Or make a comment in the boot camp and say, hey, Dave, I'm there. I had just recently put a post up. I'll get you signed up tonight. Let me know if you're interested. I'll send you an invoice and get you going. I promise I will do everything I can during that day to give you as much value as humanly possible. Anything you want to know, it's your day. It's a nice, small, intimate group of only 5, 6, or 7 people. I keep it really low. I don't invite a lot of people to the boot camp. Once it fills up to that, I cut off the access. So that way I can give my most attention to the people that do show up. Okay, I'd like to keep it around 4 or 5, maybe 6 at the most people. Anyways, let me know if you decide to come to that. Does anybody have any questions on the boot camp itself? Anything that you're wondering about it, or you're kind of like on the fence about it? Eric says, do you need to bring anything? The only thing I would bring is just like a notebook, something to take a lot of notes with. Maybe if you have like some people that have been messaging you, you can have some text ready for me to call some people for you. That might be good. Like have some offers. Other than that, you don't need to bring anything. I'll have all the repair kits all set. I'll have dead phones for you guys to practice iPhone repairs on. You'll be practicing on live phones right there in the shop. You'll see me in action, like working with customers. I'll be there all day running the store myself. And you'll get to meet my top employees too. I'll have some of my top employees there as we're doing the boot camp. So, any other questions? Okay. Well, guys, that'll wrap it up. Steven, if you don't mind, I'm going to message you and do an interview with you in a minute. And anybody else who's doing good money part-time, I'll reach out and try to get some tips on. David says, thank you. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Thank you for everybody for coming tonight. And I hope you guys found this group chat valuable and you got some good information out of it. All right. Have a great night, guys.